One of the best hotels in Disney World is not owned by Disney. Let's check out the Walt Disney World Swan Hotel. This is another hotel crash course so that you can decide if a stay at the Swan is going to be right for you and know what to expect if you do plan to stay at this hotel. Now, the Walt Disney World Swan has a 12-story main building and 2 7-story wings holding the 758 guest rooms. It is a coral and peach color resort with giant aqua waves. 46-foot swans sit on top of the hotel. I've actually seen a bald eagle sitting up on the head of one of those swans before, which is really cool. The Swan is the sister hotel of the Dolphin, and it is owned by Marriott. So not a Disney-owned hotel. Therefore, you're not going to see a lot of Disney theming. It's going to feel a lot more like a regular hotel, but it still has one of the best locations in Disney World. These hotels sit on Crescent Lake, which is walking distance to both Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios, as well as all the other hotels in this area, including Disney World's Boardwalk and Resort and Disney's Yacht and Beach Club resorts. And even these hotels are not owned by Disney. You still get some of the Disney perks. You won't get Disney transportation, although Swan and Dolphin do provide transportation. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But you do get early theme park entry, and you get extended theme park hours, which is a perk typically only afforded to deluxe hotel guests in Disney World. Now, perks-wise, the Swan is going to be missing some perks such as transportation. Disney does not provide their resort transportation from the Swan. Instead, you will take Swan's transportation, which does have a regular shuttle bus. It's just a little bit more of a hassle than Disney's, which I will cover in this video. However, you do get some other Disney perks, including early theme park entry and extended theme park hours. Extended evening hours is a perk where you get to stay in the park after it's closed and after other guests have had to depart. And it is a perk that is typically mostly available to Disney World Deluxe hotels only. Now, for a whole lot cheaper, you can stay at the Swan and get that same perk. So if you're listening so far, best location, one of the best perks, you know, just hear me out, hear me out. Now let's talk a little bit about the rooms at this hotel. There are traditional and deluxe rooms. They also have king bed rooms. Some rooms are listed as having no view, some have a resort view, some have a balcony, and some are listed as having an alcove. They also have a few suite options. Now, it is not a Disney hotel, but it has really nice large rooms. It's just gonna feel a lot more like a normal hotel room than like a hotel that Disney would own. Rates tend to hang around $280 to $300 per night, with $550 to $720 per night on busier times. Now, one thing to note about the Swan and the Dolphin is that unlike Disney hotels, the Swan does have a resort fee. It is a mandatory $35 and covers some of your perks, but it's something to budget into. So all those per night numbers I just said add about $35, and that's what we're looking at for a real per night. As you can see, it definitely just looks like kind of a standard hotel, but it does have some Disney amenities like the Disney Planning Center and a Disney gift shop where you can shop for some Disney merchandise. There you go. And get help with your tickets or dining reservations or things like that. Now let's check out some dining. We are next to one of my favorite spots. I go out of my way to come to Java. Java is a coffee shop with some grab and go options, as well as specialty coffees. I'm a really big fan of the coffee they serve at Java and at Fuel. They do a really, really good job with it, and I actually consider it some of the best coffee in Disney World. Bested really only by Le Petit Cafe at Disney's Riviera Resort. Oh my gosh, look at that cookie. Oh, it smells good in here. Headed down off of the main lobby-way, we're going to find several more dining options, including an underrated favorite, Il Mulino. If you like Italian food, you need to stop by Il Mulino. It is right here. It is Il Mulino New York Trattoria, and it is by many people considered one of the best Italian restaurants in Disney World. It's also got a very romantic vibe, and you can see the kitchen, which is really cool. So Il Mulino is definitely a beautiful option. And of course, there's also Il Mulino Lounge if you don't want to do a full sit-down meal. Across the hall, we have even more restaurants, and I think they're going to surprise you. Before we head down to those, though, we've got to check out Chill. Chill is very limited hours. It's only open on Fridays and Saturdays right now in the winter, but it's going to be, you know, frozen drinks, frozen cocktails, and things like that. Which is pretty fun. Now, heading down this way, we are going to come across Kimonos. Kimonos is one of the more unique hotel restaurants in Disney World. This is a sushi restaurant, and they sometimes host karaoke, which is very fun and one of my bucket list items to do. But I've heard the sushi is very good, and I've heard the karaoke is very fun. If you'd like to see the AllEars team come get sushi and do karaoke, let me know in the comments. We also, a little further down, have Garden Grove, which is going to be a great spot that I think kiddos are really going to like because it's got the Enchanted sculpted tree in the center, as you can see in there. This spot is gonna be a great spot for breakfast. They've got sort of like your exciting hotel vacation breakfast, you know, eggs and French toast and biscuits and gravy, Belgian waffles. Look at the wedding cakes. But it's just got a really nice environment. And this spot does get pretty busy during those breakfast opening hours. Now back outside in the very intense winds, dude, look at those palm trees. Wow, it is really windy out here and it's not even hurricane season. The final dining location is located over by the pool, which is Splash Pool Bar and Grill. Gonna have some limited lunch items as well as some pool drinks. Oh my gosh, no acrobatics permitted on the property. How often does that happen? As we head over to the pool, let's talk a little bit about recreation. So one thing that's really cool at the Swan is you do have access to Camp Dolphin, which is available for children ages 4 to 12 from 5 p.m. to midnight with nightly themed activities, which is pretty neat. Both these hotels also have access to tennis courts and basketball courts, running paths, and you are walking distance very, very close to Fantasia Mini Golf, which is one of my favorite things to do in Disney World. It is super, super fun. You've also got a pretty expansive number of pools. You've got a lap pool, the cabana deck, the extensively themed grotto pool. Across the way, that's Cabana Beach Hut, which is a poolside kiosk providing essentials for a day in the sun-drenched fun. There's Swan boats over there, very fitting for if you're staying at the Swan. There's also the spring pool and the kiddie pool. So lots of pools. The closest one to the Swan is gonna be the lap pool, but you have access to all of those pools by staying at these hotels. You also have access to paddle boat rentals and seasonal beach rentals as well. So pretty cool. Another thing that I really love about the Swan is that sometimes, depending on the open hours of the pool bar that you're near, you can order your refreshments directly to your seat, which is very neat. Now let's talk transportation, as it is a little different since this isn't an official Disney hotel. We've got the boat to Epcot and Hollywood Studios that is run by Disney. You get the same boat that everybody at the expensive deluxe Disney hotels gets. You can also walk to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. You can walk to the Skyliner, which is at the Epcot entrance, and that can take you to Riviera, Caribbean Beach, Pop Century, Art of Animation, and Hollywood Studios as well. And if you're gonna go anywhere else, it's gonna be via shuttle bus. Now these shuttle buses are not run by Disney, but hopefully that shouldn't give you too much of a problem. They are still relatively consistent. You can ask the front desk about the current schedule, but in my experience, it has been about every 20 minutes that I've been able to get a bus going somewhere. So just similar to Disney. The biggest problem with taking Swan buses over a hotel that would have actual Disney buses is when you're going to Magic Kingdom, instead of getting dropped right at the gates to the park, you get dropped at the Transportation and Ticket Center and then have to monorail across the lagoon. So that's the only negative. I have also seen some complaints in our comments about the buses not being quite as consistent, but again, just something to plan for. Speak to the front desk when you check in. Now it's time to decide if you should get booking or keep looking. You should get booking at the Swan if you want the perfect location without breaking the bank. This hotel is still a little expensive, but it is way less expensive than a deluxe hotels and still gets you a pretty amazing location. You should also get booking if you don't mind missing out on that Disney vibe. For some people, it's not that important when they go back to the hotel at night. This is also a great option if you don't want to break that bank, but you want those extended evening hours. If you want to maximize your time in the park, the Swan is a great option. Now you should keep looking if you're trying to ball on a budget. Though Swan is not overly expensive, it is not overly cheap either, and there are a lot of value hotels that give you a lot of great Disney perks that are a lot cheaper. You should also keep looking if you want that Disney feel in your hotel. Swan's just not gonna deliver that because it's not a Disney hotel. But don't worry, if you do decide to keep looking, you can check out my ranking of every single Disney World hotel that is on the channel now. I've stayed in every single hotel in Disney World, so I can help you decide where you should keep looking or get booking. You can check that out right now on the channel, and once you've narrowed it down, you can check out my full tours of any hotels in Disney World, all up on the channel. I hope this has helped you learn a little bit more about the Swan Hotel. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and now go check out my full tour of the Walt Disney World Swan. I'll see you there.